if you're still unsure who you're voting for this upcoming presidential election, you're not alone. A new Marist poll out yesterday shows that 1/3 of voters could change their minds or haven't even made up their minds about who to vote for. Well, enter Chase Oliver, the new Libertarian presidential nominee who has some radical ideas about how to lead the country. He won the party's nomination on Sunday night, beating out former President Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The former president actually showed up and gave a speech at the convention and was roundly booed. He ended up with just 6 votes. The Libertarian Party is the largest third party in the United States. It's for less government oversight and more personal freedoms. Libertarians call for the abolition of the IRS and the FBI and any military spending overseas. But it's a party that has struggled to gain traction among voters. The nominee in 2020 was Jo Jorgensen. Remember her? If you don't, you're not the only one. She got just 1.2% of the vote in 2020. The new Libertarian nominee for 2024 is joining us now. He is Chase Oliver. Chase, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Would love to just get your reaction off the top to the big news of the day, which was the conviction of former President Trump.
Yeah, well, I didn't pay a ton of attention to the trial itself because I was busy campaigning across the country, earning my party's nomination. But what I will gain from it is that Donald Trump is likely to start talking about the problems with our justice system, the injustices of our justice system. But during his 4 years as president, there were millions of people who had problems in our justice system that he completely ignored. He supported things like mandatory minimums, the death penalty, and all sorts of things that really make it harder for people to really get justice in this country. But he himself, starts caring about it once it affects him.
All right.
And so, yeah.
Do you think it has increased your chances of gaining any traction at all that he is now a convicted felon?
Well, I think not being a convicted felon, I guess, can be put into the plus column for me. And I do think that many voters seeing Donald Trump being convicted of a crime might look for other options other than the Democrats if they are a Republican or conservative leaning voter. And as you said, we're for maximum freedom, ending taxation, getting rid of all this excess government. And of course, we're the most pro Second Amendment party in the United States.
It was a bit of a nail biter to get at the nominating convention. It took 7 hours and 7 rounds of voting for you to eke out a win. More than 1/3 of the convention goers voted for none of the above instead of you. So what kind of mandate do you think you actually have?
Well, I think it's just indicative of the fact that we have a broad spectrum in our party. We're quite a big tent. And with my running mate, we hope to be a very unifying ticket that can bring all sides of the party together. And I recognize that there's work to do in terms of spreading our message to the American people. And yeah, it was a contentious, very long day, 7 hours of voting in the hall. But I think that prepared me to just get right out there and be energetic on the campaign trail as I've traveled across all 50 states this last year.
The convention was also raucous. As I said, RFK and Trump both showed up. Write-in candidates at the convention included Afro Man, Sean Lennon, Stormy Daniels, and Courtney Love. Why should voters take the Libertarian Party seriously, given that?
Well, our conventions are a raucous atmosphere. And as you said, we have some fun write-in voters, 4 of those out of 1,000, I suppose. One of those people was actually at the event. That would have been Afro Man. But really, I hope voters can understand that the Libertarian Party is a party for the next generation. We're a party for those who have been sick and tired of being sick and tired of the old 2-party system. And yeah, we like to have a little bit of fun at our convention.
You have described yourself as armed and gay, and you have vowed to stop the thieving taxation. You've said it already a couple times in this interview. How would you fund the government if you don't have any tax revenue?
Well, I am, in fact, both armed and gay. I'm both of those things. And as far as taxation goes, in the minarchist ideal, we would have a state that's so small that people would voluntarily fund it for the services that they want. I recognize we're nowhere near that, but what we can do is start working towards reducing the state and showing the proof of concept of what limited government looks like and how we actually can increase prosperity for the average American family. The more and more we reduce government, the more and more we'll see that prosperity growing. And ultimately, maybe we get to that North Star one day of a state that's so small it fits in the palm of your hand. But until then, we have to make sure we keep it in check and secure each and every American's civil liberties.
Just very quickly, because we're running out of time, you also say you would cut all military aid to Israel and Ukraine, instead offering them moral support. What does that look like?
Well, that is supporting humanitarian aid via voluntary charity to help those who are in need. And of course, allowing for those who are conscripted to fight to come here on an asylum claim, because Conscription is something that I absolutely oppose. And yeah, supporting diplomacy, free trade, and voluntary exchange instead of exporting our values with the bomb and the bullet.
All right, Chase Oliver, good luck on the campaign trail. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.